Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego. And today we're going to continue talking about Thelma and Louise. That's right, Thelma and Louise, a wonderful chick flick from 1991. A chick flick that I had never seen before, but now I have. All right, so I know where this is going now. Okay, I do like this movie a lot. It's not as good as some of the other movies I've seen, but I do understand now. Now that I've watched the whole thing, I do understand why it has such a fan following and why it won all these awards. I get it now. I get it now. Okay, I know what the thing is now that women love so much about this movie. Okay. So just real quickly, I want to let you know that here, I'll give you a straight man's point of view. Okay, this is actually part 7 of my review on the Thelma and Louise movie. I'm breaking down the entire fucking movie scene to scene. Okay, just giving you my thoughts of what I think about what's going on here and the emotions and the characters and what I think is going on with them as well as with me. Okay, so where we left off last time, okay, we were the girls had just rolled a cop that pulled him over. They actually put him in the trunk of the car. Okay, and took off. They took his gun. Okay, and they're on the road now. Okay, and then they're fleeing. The cops are looking for him. Everyone's looking for him. Okay, they're very famous now, infamous now. Okay, and they're trying to get away, and they're having second thoughts. But every time one of them wants to act on their second thoughts, the other one stops them. Okay, so they're taking turns back and forth. One of them wants to just give up and turn themselves in. The other one's like, nope, nope, don't do it. We got to keep going. And then the other one, same thing. Okay, so they're both going back and forth here. Okay. Now, what I do here is I give you a straight man's point of view. Okay, I do not censor myself. Okay, so the real question is, can you handle it? Can you handle the truth? I'm going to talk to you the way I would talk to anybody else, okay, who's watched this movie for the first time or have seen it before. This is my first time watching it. I wrote down a lot of notes, so let's get going here, okay? So the girls decide to pull over now, okay? They've been on the run now for 2 days, okay? They decide to pull over, and Thelma calls Hal, okay? That's the cop, okay? She calls Hal by calling Thelma's house, okay? Because the cops are all there. Okay, they're waiting for the girls to call so they can trace the phone call. All right. So they call Hal, and Louise says, Louise tells Hal on the phone, that's the cop that's chasing him, Harvey Keitel. We got a snowball effect here. Okay, not in the middle. I'm not in the middle of nowhere, but I can see it from here. Okay, Hal thinks, you know what, Louise? I think in a lot of ways you and I have a lot in common. You're still here with us, And she says, well, would you believe it if I told you all of this was just an accident? I do believe you. I believe that's exactly what it is. The problem is it doesn't look like an accident. I need you to come in here and tell me what really happened so that I can tell them that it was an accident. Because it looks like it's not. Hal's like, if you don't come in and talk to me, I'll have no choice but to charge you with murder. Now, do you want to make it out of this alive? And Louise is like, oh, shit. Louise like, Hal, there's certain words that I'm really, really having a problem with. They're kind of going through my mind right now. Words like incarceration, body cavity search, electrocution, life imprisonment. You know what I'm saying? Do I want to make it out here alive? Well, I'm going to have to think about that. I was like, please, Louise, please, I'll do anything. Look, I know why you're doing this. I know what happened to you in Texas. Louise just like, now just for a moment there, I think this is exactly what Louise needed to hear. She can't talk to Thelma about what happened to her in Texas. But here's a guy that already knows what happened, so there's no point in bullshitting about it. I think maybe if she had opened up to him right at this moment, he could have talked her down. He could have talked her into turning herself in. Or at least the cops would have gotten them. They would have gotten their location by then because they're tracing the call. But of course, Thelma shows up and she hangs up the phone for her. And tells her, don't blow it. Don't blow it, Louise. We got to go. She hangs up the phone. So Louise never gets the chance to open up to him. Because I think that maybe that's just what she needed. She just needed someone to talk to. Okay. This whole situation started because she shot Harlan after he had tried to rape Thelma. Okay. But the reason she shot Harlan was because he was a rapist. And he talked shit to her. Okay. And that triggered her, okay? She's been in this situation before. She's murdered a man before, okay? And probably, she hasn't admitted to why, but probably because he raped her, okay? So she needs to talk to someone about this. And this guy knows what's going on, okay? She shot this guy because she never dealt with her own issues probably with a past rape that she experienced. She never dealt with that. She never put it somewhere. She always kept it underneath the surface. She always kept that hatred going. She kept fueling that fire, that hatred of the rapist and probably of men in general. And so when here's an honest to God rapist in front of her, of course, he triggers her, he sets her off, he tells her to suck his dick. That pisses her off. Boom, you're dead. She's got issues, unresolved issues with that. And here's a guy that understands it and could have helped her through it. But instead, Thelma was like, nope, don't you bail out on me now. Don't you give up on me. Ride or die. So they're already committed. They're basically committed now. All right? To where they're going with their lives. What's left of it. Okay? So that's going on here. She says, don't blow it. And the cops get a trace. Okay, they're like, Hal had them on the phone long enough. They know where they are. They know where the girls are. Okay, so Hal talks to Max, the FBI guy, and tells him, hey, listen, I want to come with you. He's like, I want to get, when all your boys show up there, there's gonna, whenever you raise the volume up this high, you know what's gonna happen? These girls are gonna end up getting shot, and I don't want that to happen. You gotta let me come with you. I can talk them down, but I want to be there when they get arrested. And he's afraid. He's afraid for these girls. He legitimately is trying to help these girls out. Okay, he understands that what happened here was an accident, and everything snowballed, just like Louise said. Okay, but he's trying to get them out of there alive. Okay, face up to their consequences, and then they can move on with their lives. Okay, but these girls do not want to face the consequences of their action. They want to make it worse. They want to keep going. Okay, that's their plan. They have no plan. It's just to keep going and see how far they can get. All right, which is not going to be very far. Okay, so Thelma asked Louise when they're walking out of the gas station. She asked Louise if she's going to make a deal with the cops. Are you going to deal with the cops? And she says, no. And Thelma says, I understand if you want to. I understand if you want to deal with them. I get it. You got something to live for. I mean, with Jimmy and all. And Louise is like, Jimmy's not an issue. He's not an option. Which means that her boyfriend, when she broke up with her boyfriend earlier, the day before, to her, that meant I'm never going to see you again. Okay? So I'm not going to stay, I'm not going to stay here for you. Okay? I'm going to go forward with my life, away from you. Whatever I'm going to do, you're not going to be a part of it. All right? So for Louise, she really has nothing keeping her to her old life. And unfortunately for Thelma, she has nothing keeping her to her old life. What? Her marriage to that asshole? She's never going to go back with him. She's already been with another guy now. She knows that all those years she spent with this guy was a waste. So what does she got to go back for? Nothing. Does she have an education? Does she have a job? She has no kids. So nothing. They got nothing to go back to. What? Louise going to go back to her waitress job at the diner? I mean, what the fuck? Thelma was a housewife who kept a shitty house. So they really have nothing. They don't have anything in their lives worth sticking around for, which is a very dangerous thing to do when you have two mentally unstable women that are armed. Okay, you don't want to put them in a desperate situation. Okay, because they will get desperate. They will act desperate. Okay, and that's where they are, and they realize this about themselves. They really have nothing to go back to. All right, and Thelma tells we want to go back to but Thelma tells Louise, something has crossed over inside of her, and she can never go back to her old life again, ever. She realizes that now. Even the way the girls are dressed now, they're dressed butch now. They're wearing cut-off T-shirts. They're wearing jeans. They're wearing cowboy hats. I mean, their hair is tied up back in the back. They got sunglasses on all the time. I mean, they're butch. They're butched out now. Okay, these are some hard-ass girls now. They don't look feminine anymore like they did in the beginning of the movie. They've given that away. Fuck, even Louise gave away her jewelry to some old man at a gas station earlier in the movie. Okay, and also I don't think Louise wants Jimmy. Her ex-boyfriend. I don't think she wants him. That's not a good enough reason for her to stay. Okay, so Louise tells Thelma, I understand. We didn't want to end up. I understand. We don't want to end up on the Geraldo show. Okay, so we got to get going. So there's a Geraldo reference, which was a talk show from the 80s. Okay, so now I'm firmly convinced this movie takes place in the 80s. Okay, I didn't know for sure. On the Wikipedia it says 60s and 70s. As I kept watching the movie, I started thinking it was a little later than that. And then when I saw the videotape of Thelma robbing the store, the convenience store, then I realized, okay, it's got to be the 80s. Okay, so yeah. So basically, these women have agreed with each other that we're going to go all the way, which is not very far, unfortunately. Okay, this is a suicide pact. I'm just going to call it out. It's a suicide pact. They didn't talk about suicide, but they've all been hinting at it. Louise has been having these like inner moments, of silence where she just looks, and it's like she realized, like she's trying to acknowledge the fact that she's dead inside, that she's already dead inside. So her body being dead is just a formality. Like I said, these women are desperate. They've got nothing left in their lives. They don't care. They don't care about seeing tomorrow. They do in a superficial way because they're so used to it. But in a sense, they've given up on their lives. They've given up on the chance their lives will get better. Okay, they've given up on that already. And they're just trying to reassure each other until the moment happens. Okay, because when one gets weak and maybe, maybe I want to live. No, you don't. No, you don't. And they're doing that to each other. Every time they get a moment where they can get out of this thing and turn it around, the other one stops them. So they're basically fueling each other on a collision course. Okay, they're rationalizing all their actions, in order to convince themselves that what they're doing is the right thing, is the only thing. Okay, they don't say that to each other, but it's there underneath the surface. It's being hinted to you, the audience, in a lot of different subtle ways. If you pay attention, listen to how they're talking, what they're talking about. They're talking about suicide. That's what they're talking about. Okay, Louise tells Thelma that they're being charged with murder, and they need to decide to come in dead or alive. Okay, and Thelma says, "Gosh, didn't he say anything positive?" So they start driving again in the desert. Okay, they're speeding in the desert. Thelma, the entire time, Thelma's quiet. She's just staring into the side view mirror there, just looking at the land behind them as they're driving away from it. Looking at herself. And they both feel, and then Thelma says, like, "You know what? I feel awake. I feel wide awake. How about you?" And Louise is like, "Well, my eyes are open, so I guess that counts." "No, man, I mean, I feel awake. I don't think I ever felt this awake before in my life." Well, yeah, because they feel awake because they know what's going to happen. They're enjoying life while they can because they know they don't got very much of it left. Okay, so they're like trying to pay attention to everything. To savor in life right now because it's about to be gone. So that's why they're awake. Like they got something to look forward to. The end to all this shit. Let's just take it all in. Let's take in this world one last time. Let's enjoy this world one last time because it's about to come to an end. You see what I mean? Oh, this is a dangerous behavior. This is a dangerous way of thinking. This is like suicide bomber thinking. Okay. Louise says, "We'll be drinking margaritas by the sea, mamacita." So they're still believing the illusion. They're still believing that there's some sort of paradise out there, and they're on their way towards it. They're driving right towards it. This is the lie they tell themselves so they can keep going. If they stop and think about what's really happening, they know what's in front of them, and it's not some fucking paradise. It's not margaritas by the sea, mamacita. Okay, it's something else. Okay, it's the end. It's the end. The real question they have to ask themselves is, do I have the guts to go through with it? Okay, and this is what they're doing to each other. They're kind of bolstering each other up, trying to give each other encouragement to keep going to the end. Now I got to admit here, they talk about changing their names. They talk about living in a hacienda. They're just fantasizing now. We're gonna live in a big hacienda, and Thelma says, "I'm gonna go work for Club Med," and we'll change our names, and they're just. And it's heartbreaking. Okay, it's heartbreaking because I know what they're doing. Okay, they're accepting this fantasy world because number one, they only have to accept it for a short amount of time, and number two, it's giving them the encouragement to go forward. It's giving them the boost in confidence to do what they know they're going to do. Like I said, they don't say it. They're lying to themselves out loud to try to convince each other that there is something better on the other side of that cliff, okay? And maybe in some way there is, but they're justifying their actions, okay? They're they're telling themselves a lie because it's easier to believe than the truth. It's giving them the courage they need to keep going forward, to do what they have to do. They're scared. And that's the real sad part about it, is that they are scared. They're scared to death of what's in front of them. And they're telling themselves these fucking bullshit stories so that they feel less fear about what's in front of them. They're telling themselves about these fantasies that they're going to have. But they know in their own heart, they know it's never going to happen. But they got to keep saying this stuff so that they can keep going. Because if they don't, they're going to stop. They're going to stop. And they're going to cut. It's a great scene, very well directed. I understand. This is brilliant filmmaking right here. It's telling you everything without telling you anything. It's telegraphing everything without telling you what they're doing. It's really sad, but it speaks to your soul, because we do this in real life. Now, maybe not with suicide, but we do this in other things. We don't want to admit the truth. We don't want to admit that we live in a bad neighborhood, or we don't want to admit that, our job isn't as prestigious as we would like to think it is, or we don't want to admit that our spouses aren't really as perfect as we want everyone to think they are. These things like that, we don't want to admit that we don't have as much money in the bank as we like to make people think we do, that kind of thing. So we lie to ourselves. We tell ourselves these little white lies to keep us going forward. To tell, no, this is just where it is now, but it'll get better, And sometimes it does get better, and sometimes it doesn't. How do you want to deal with it? This is how the girls choose to deal with their situation. Just tell each other fantasies about how great everything is going to be once we get to where we're going, even though there's nowhere to go except one place. It's like I said, their options are limiting as the longer this goes on. So it's sad, but it's a really great scene. Great filmmaking release, guy. You did a really good job with that part. Okay, and I get it. That this is the scene that really spoke to me the most. I think. Is I understood these women during this scene. Okay, I understood behind the bravado, behind their toughness, is they were just scared. These were scared little girls, okay, that had given up on any possibility of having a better life. They gave up on it, and it's so sad because you watch them not wanting to give up on it. You watch them wanting to hold on to something to keep them here in the real world. But as they keep going forward, they start losing those things, start losing their desire to hold on to those things, okay? And suicide is never an easy decision. Nobody can just do it, You got to do a lot of fucking bullshit in your mind to convince yourself that that's okay, and that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing, and I just want to reach into the fucking TV and just, hey, snap out of this shit. Snap out of this. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. But you can't. They're on a path, and they're not going to stop. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. It really is. Louise says, what kind of deal, like I said, they were talking about changing our names, we're going to live in a big hacienda, we're going to work at Club Med. And Louise says, well, what kind of deal can those cops offer us that can beat that, huh? Ain't nothing. Once again, rationalizing, okay? Okay, now Thelma, I noticed that Thelma has her feet on the dash of the car this time, and Louise did not tell her to put her feet down. That's another telegraph right there, okay? She don't give a shit. She don't give a shit about this car anymore. She don't give a shit about nothing anymore. Neither one of them do. It's a dangerous place to be. Okay, they start singing. They start singing down the highway. They're singing a song called "Better Not Look Down" by B.B. King. And if you, I never heard that song before, but I listened to it again. And if you listen to the lyrics, if you read the lyrics, it says stuff like, better not look down if you want to keep on flying. Put the hammer down, keep it full speed ahead. In other words, don't look back. Quit doubting yourself. Just keep going forward. Keep going forward. In other words, this song is giving them the courage to continue with their fucking suicide run. Everything, they're using everything at their disposal to convince themselves that what they're doing is the right thing. Okay? And like I said, it's heartbreaking. Okay? They approach the lewd truck driver again, the gasoline truck driver. He's there again. Some fucking WT asshole, and he propositions them again. Hey, bitch, baby, you ready for a big dick? Honk, honk, right over here. That kind of thing. And they've had enough of him. They've had enough of everything. Okay, they're not going to ignore him this time. They actually pull him over. They actually pull over for him. They both pull over, and he propositions them, and they're like, "Yeah, follow us." And they follow, and he follow, and being a fucking idiot, even though he's got fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of gasoline in the bag, he's gonna follow them. Like this would ever fucking happen in real life, okay? But he does because all men in this fucking movie are idiots except for Hal. He's the only like decent human being in this whole fucking movie. Every other man in this fucking movie is a piece of shit, okay? And Thelma, when he gets out of the truck to go meet up with them, Thelma tells him, we think you got bad manners. You talk to us, but you don't even, the way you talk to us, you don't even know us. What about your wife or your sister or your mother? Would you talk to them the way you talk to us? Would you talk to them that way? He's like, hey, you bitches. I ain't apologizing for shit. And he starts walking away, So he's just this dumb, horny redneck, okay? Piece of shit, They humiliate him. They emasculate him, And why are you doing that? Why are you doing this whole, what do you think? That's disgusting. What the hell makes you think that me or any other woman will want that from you? Why are you doing this shit? Why are you pointing your crotch like that? What, you want to take off and show us your beer belly? Is that what you think is going to turn us on? Things like that, He's like, y'all a bunch of crazy bitches. He starts walking away, and Thelma says, we think you need to apologize. And they point the gun at him, and now he's like shitting himself, like, I ain't apologizing for shit. Fuck that. Because he's he got dip in his mouth. Of course he does, all right? Louise points her gun at him, and Louise says, say you're sorry, or I'm going to make you say you're sorry. You're fucking sorry. And Thelma's like, you called us beavers on your CB radio, didn't you? I hate that. I hate being called a beaver. He's like, well, fuck you. And Louise shoots out his tires. Not him, shoots out the tires for the truck. Okay, so the tires immediately go flat. He's like, you bitches from hell. I ain't gonna apologize. No, you know what, Thelma? I don't think he's gonna apologize. Nope. So Thelma fucking shoots the gas tank. Okay, the big gas tank, and the whole thing blows up. Boom. Now, this was realistic, okay? The shrapnel alone would have killed him and the women. Okay, no matter how far away they were. Okay, they were not nearly far away enough to avoid shrapnel. Okay, but it blows up. They're unhurt, but it's a good action scene. They blow up the gasoline truck. Okay, and he starts screaming, "You bitches from hell! You're gonna have to pay for this! I'm gonna get you!" They just get in their fucking Thunderbird and they do a circle around him. They pick up his baseball cap that he was wearing. Thelma grabs it and puts it on herself, and they just drive off, and leave him there screaming at them. Because, all men are fucking pieces of shit. Okay, and Louise tells Thelma, where'd you learn to shoot like that? And Thelma says, TV, what about you? She's like, I learned in Texas. And they're driving off again, all right? So they're in their butch mode, fucking sunglasses. Louise got a cowboy hat on. Fucking Thelma's got the baseball cap she just stole from this guy. And they're on the road, fucking big dust trail behind them. They're going, okay? Meanwhile, this black guy's riding his bicycle in the desert, and he's smoking weed. He's smoking a big fucking blunt. And he sees the state trooper car, and he hears the cop in there fucking screaming for his life, asking for help. The cop that the state trooper that the girls left in the trunk of the car. They rolled him and stole his gun. That's why they both have guns. One of them belonged to him. Okay, and he's screaming for help. And the black guy just goes up there and he just blows smoke inside one of the bullet holes. Blows a weed in there, and he doesn't help him. I guess he does, but we don't see it. All right. So that's going on here. Okay. Meanwhile, the cops are mobilizing. Okay, they're getting ready to hunt down these bitches. All right, and yes, they are. They're acting like bitches, so I'm going to call them bitches. I feel sorry for them, I do. Okay, but they have to answer for what they did. I would say the same thing if it was men. If it was men that had done shit like this and they were on the run, I've seen movies like that too, where the guys are the ones that did it. Okay, I would still root for the cops to catch these assholes, no matter how much I sympathize with them. So it's not a sexist thing. Okay. The cops are mobilizing against the girls. Okay, they're getting everything ready. And Daryl has an emotional meltdown. This is the last time we see him in the movie. He realizes the cops are all leaving his house. They're going to go get the girls. They know where they are. They know which direction they're going. All that kind of stuff. And Daryl just like starts crying, like he realizes that maybe like he lost his wife a long time ago, and that his wife was unhappy with him, and it's probably his own fault. But he doesn't have any courage to fucking do anything about it in the past. He didn't have the guts to fucking fix his marriage. He just decided to be an asshole and treat his wife like shit. And he realizes now that his behavior of doing that to her probably was spurred her on to continue her actions right now. Fucking the other guy, robbing the liquor store, making a suicide pact. Going against the cops. Most people surrender when the cops are on your trail. These girls aren't doing that. All right. So he realized that whatever it was, I probably had something to do with it, and yeah, he probably did. Now, it's not all his fault. Okay. Yes, he's a piece of shit. Okay. But he did not make Thelma do any of the things that Thelma did. Okay. Thelma did that stuff because she wanted to. All right. She's responsible for her own actions, and he's responsible for his. And unfortunately, in this movie, he's not the one that killed anybody. He's not the one that fucking robbed the store. Okay. His only crime was being an asshole husband. Okay. So the cops begin to pursue the girls, all right? They set up a barricade, and Louise plays chicken with the cops, all right? They start fucking this chase, all right? So she plays chicken with them, okay? There's one scene where she drives straight toward the barricade, and there's a cop coming straight for her, and they're about to hit each other, but the cop chickens out and swerves and fucking rolls over, and the girls keep going, okay? So now we have entered Smokey and the Bandit / Blues Brothers territory now in this movie, okay? So yeah, of course the cop chickens out, right? All right. So it's getting very frantic now, okay? The tempo's up. The action is fast-paced now. Everything's happening really fast, all right? So Thelma's like, this is all my fault. And Louise like, no, it wasn't. She's like, Louise, no matter what happens, I'm glad I came with you. And the cops, of course, are all stupid. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They leave a gap in the barricade, a gap just big enough for the fucking girls to drive right through. Okay, like I said, this is fucking Blues Brothers now, okay? Smokey and the Bandit, okay? So they drive right through the fucking gap in the barricade, okay? Like Smokey and the Bandit, and the cops, of course, all the cop cars are crashing. The girls make it through, but the cops are like, ah! Yeah. So all the cop cars are crashing, Blues Brothers style, all right? And the girls are getting away. They're fucking, doing all that shit, right? Yeah. They became professional drivers all of a sudden, okay? And they're drunk, okay? I counted. There's 11 cop cars chasing them in the middle of the desert. 11 cop cars with their sirens on, chasing them in the middle of the desert, right? And they ain't stopping. So anyway, they come up to a low rail bridge, all right? And Louise guns it, and she makes it right through the bridge. Unfortunately, the cop that was right behind her cannot clear it, and he fucking crashes right into it and wedges the underground bridge. So now the cops can't go through there. So they're fucked. They can't pursue. Which is, like I said, some Smokey and the Bandit shit right here. So the girls made it right through the gap, the narrow gap. They made it right through it, but the cop cars, their cars are too big. They crash right into it and get stuck in there. So no pursuit. Oh, so the girls are all excited. Damn, girl, that's some great driving you did there. Of course, and they're fucking hauling ass, all right? Thelma's like, everything we got to lose already gone. That's what Thelma says, Just keep going. Yeah. So they drive in silence for a while, okay? Thelma lights up her cigarette, because she started smoking now on this trip. And Thelma says, you're a good friend, Louise. Louise is like, you too, sweetie. You're the best. How do you like the vacation so far? And of course they start laughing, and it's sad because they're laughing, but there's nothing happy about what they're about to do. Nothing at all. And Thelma's like, well, I guess I went a little crazy, didn't I? And she keeps looking back every time she's talking to Thelma. She's looking back. And Louise's like, no, you always been crazy. You were always crazy, okay? You just needed to express, this is just your first chance to express yourself. Okay, now what the girls did not realize is it wasn't just cop cars that were chasing them. There was also a police helicopter there that was chasing them. That helicopter is still chasing them. They're hiding behind the ridge, but they're right there following the girls. They can see the smoke trail the girls are leaving. Okay, so there is a police helicopter chasing them. Okay, they're not aware of it yet. Okay, so the girls are driving. They think they're home free. Okay. They stop in front, and all of a sudden, they're driving around. They're not paying attention, and then all of a sudden, Louise sees what's in front of her, and she fucking slams on the brakes, and the girls almost fall over a cliff. They're on the edge of the Grand fucking Canyon. Okay. So they stop, and she puts it in reverse and turns it around. Okay. She backs it up. When she backs it up, before she puts it in reverse, the police helicopter comes up right in front of her. Okay. It's a good scene. Like the helicopter just shows up right in front of her. You know, like the helicopter's right in front of them now. So the girls back up and they try to turn around and the car gets stuck. They can't move forward anymore. As they're looking in front of them, all the cop cars just start showing up. I mean, there must be 50 of them. All of them with the cops in there. They're all armed with rifles and shotguns and pistols. Okay, they're fucked. You know, and Thelma says like, son of a bitch, it looks like the whole goddamn army. Well, yeah, you did a lot of shit, girls. You did a lot of shit. And Louis like, all this is for us? Well, yeah, you did a lot of shit, girls. You did a lot of shit. So Hal tries to keep, Hal shows up. He was in the helicopter. Okay, he tells Max, the FBI guy, he tries to keep the cops from shooting. You know, he doesn't want them to shooting the girls, you know. And Max tells him, hey, listen, Hal, okay, these girls are armed, all right? They're armed, okay? Now, my boys know what they're doing. You know, and they scream, and the cops go on the microphone, and they go like, hey, turn the engine off and place your hands in full view. Well, Louise looks at fucking Thelma's like, I ain't giving up. I ain't giving up. Now, Hal yells at Max, the FBI guy. He's like, how many times do these women have to get fucked over? Let me talk to them. Let me go up there. You know, so now he's simping, okay? Throughout this entire movie, Hal has been sticking up for these girls. He doesn't even fucking know these girls. Now, he knows that they didn't want this to happen, okay? But they're still doing dangerous things. They're still putting other people in danger, including themselves. No matter how sorry they are, they've still done some terrible things. They still held up a store. They still killed a man in cold blood. Okay? They still did these things. Okay? They are dangerous. And they're armed, okay? They rolled a state trooper, for Christ's sake. Okay, they blew up a fucking gasoline truck. Okay? These are not safe, harmless women. These are dangerous women. So of course the cops are gonna fucking treat them like they're dangerous. Okay? Hal's like, no, let me talk to him. No, dude, no. I know you feel bad for them. He's supposed to be like us. He's supposed to be the spokesman for the audience. No, we got to help these girls. They're good girls. They just did some bad things. That might be true, but they're so fucking dangerous. Okay? And there's no guarantee that if you go up and talk to them, they're not going to fucking shoot you. Okay? They don't even give a shit about their own fucking lives. You think they're going to give a shit about yours? Fuck no. If that cop hadn't fucking started crying and pissing his own pants, they would have killed him too. If he'd given them any attitude, they would have killed him. And they would have killed you. So no, he shouldn't have been simping for them. No, let me talk to him. No, these girls already got fucked over in life so bad. What about the people they fucked over? Yeah, you think about that? No, you're only thinking about them. Bullshit. I do feel bad for these girls. I do. These are realistic women. I get them. I understand exactly what they're going through. Okay? I know, and a lot of it's not their fault. It's not their fault what happened to them. What's their fault is how they dealt with it. The decisions that they made, these are the decisions that they have to live with, or not live with in this case. You see what I mean? So that's going on, and the girls know they're fucked. They're fucked, okay? They're not going to give up, okay? And Thelma looks at Louise, and she's like, you know what, Louise? Let's not get caught. Let's just keep going. Louise like, what are you talking about? Let's just keep going. She's like, are you sure? Yeah. So they it's really sad. They turn the car around. Now they're not facing the cops anymore. They're facing the Grand Canyon, the cliff. And they give each other a big, long kiss. They kiss each other on the lips. And they're crying while they're doing it. This is it. This is what they were waiting for. This is what it was all leading to. You know? And they kiss each other and they cry. And Hal, in slow motion, Hal runs after them. He doesn't give a shit that the cops are all pointing at them. He runs into the line of fire anyway to try to stop them from what they're about to do. He knows what they're going to do. He's trying to save them. He's trying to fucking save these girls. You know? And he runs after them. They kiss each other and fucking Louise guns it. And they go. Full speed ahead. And of course, right before they go over the cliff, they hold each other's hands. You know? It's fucking sad, you know? Like, this didn't have to be this way. It didn't have to be this way. You didn't have to do this. You know? But they do. They hold each other's hands. They go over. They go over. They go over into the Grand Canyon. And into Hollywood infamy. And that is the end. That is the end of Thelma and Louise. Okay. So I will be back shortly. This ends my review here. But I'll be back shortly with the next part so I can give you my overall conclusion of the movie. Okay? So anyway, thank you very much for watching this. I know I got a lot of things wrong. I've never seen this movie before. This is my first time watching it, okay? Usually, if I'm talking about a movie, I usually already seen it several times. And this exception of the case, I actually never seen this movie before. I watched it first. You know, I watched it to do this, okay? So anyway, I will see you very shortly with my conclusion of Thelma and Louise. Thank you for watching this long, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.